The solar system contains many small objects that, like the planets, orbit the sun. Scientists classify these objects based on their shapes, sizes, compositions, and orbits. The major categories include dwarf planets, comets, asteroids, and meteoroids. Areas of the solar system. Most of the small objects in the solar system are found in three areas: the asteroid belt, the Kuiper belt, and the Oort cloud. The asteroid belt is a region of the solar system between Jupiter and Mars. Beyond Neptune's orbit is a region called the Kuiper belt, which extends to about 100 times Earth's distance from the sun. Beyond the Kuiper belt is the Oort cloud. Oort stretches out more than 1,000 times the distance between the sun and Neptune. Figure 1 shows these areas. So here we have our Oort cloud. And if we zoom in, we have the Kuiper belt, which is just outside of where Neptune is. Our blue line shows the orbit of Neptune. And then we zoom in, and between Mars and Jupiter, we have our asteroid belt. Dwarf planets. What happened to Pluto? You may have found yourself asking this question as you have learned about the solar system. For many years, Pluto was considered a planet, but then scientists discovered other objects that were at least Pluto's size. Some were even further away than Pluto. Scientists began debating how to define a planet, defining dwarf planets. In 2006, astronomers developed a new category of objects called dwarf planets. These objects orbit the sun and have enough gravity to pull themselves into spheres, but they have other objects in the area of their orbits. As of 2009, scientists had identified 5 dwarf planets: Pluto, Eris, Makemake, Huema, and Ceres. Eris is believed to be the largest dwarf planet so far. There are at least a dozen more objects that may turn out to be dwarf planets once science are able to study them. Like Pluto, dwarf planets have many moons. Can have moons, I'm sorry. Pluto has 3 moons: Charon, Nix, and Hydra. Huema has 2 and Eris has 1. Kuiper belt objects. All the known dwarf planets except Ceres orbit beyond Neptune. Ceres orbits in the asteroid belt. A dwarf planet that orbits beyond Neptune is called a Plutoid. Most Plutoids orbit the sun in the Kuiper belt, which is just outside of Neptune's orbit, though Eris may be beyond it. The Kuiper belt also includes many other objects that are too small to be considered dwarf planets. A comet is one of the most dramatic objects you can see in the night sky. On a dark night, you can see its fuzzy white head and long streaming tails. Comets are loose collections of ice, dust, and small rocky particles whose orbits can be very long, narrow ellipses, or like a long oval. Some comets have smaller orbits that bring them near Earth regularly. Most comets originate in the Oort cloud. A comet's head. When a comet gets close to the sun, the energy in sunlight turns the ice into gas, releasing gas and dust. Clouds of gas and dust form a fuzzy outer layer called a coma. Figure 3 shows the coma and the nucleus, the solid inner core of a comet. The nucleus is only a few kilometers across. So down here we have our comet, our nucleus, our coma, and then our tail shoots way off. A comet's tail. As a comet approaches the sun, it heats up and starts to glow. Some of its gas and dust stream outward, forming a tail. Most comets have 2 tails, a gas tail and a dust tail. The gas tail points away from the sun and the dust tail points along the path that the comet's already taken, like it's trailing behind. The comet's tail can be more than 100 million kilometers long, and from Earth appears to stretch across most of the sky. The material is stretched out very thinly, though. Asteroids. Hundreds of small, irregular, rocky objects orbit the sun. These asteroids are rocky objects, which most of which are too small and too numerous to be considered planets or dwarf planets. Astronomers have discovered more than 100,000 asteroids, and they are constantly finding more. Small bodies. Most asteroids are small, less than a kilometer in diameter. Only Ceres, Pallas, Vesta, and Hygiea are more than 300 kilometers across. Ceres is both a dwarf planet and the largest asteroid. Most asteroids are not spherical or round. Scientists hypothesize that asteroids are leftover pieces of the early solar system that never came together to form a planet. Asteroid orbits. Most asteroids orbit the sun in the asteroid belt. Some, however, have very elliptical or oval orbits that bring them closer to the sun than Earth's orbit. Someday an asteroid will hit Earth. One or more asteroids did hit Earth about 65 million years ago, filling the atmosphere with dust and smoke and blocking out sunlight around the world. Scientists hypothesize that many species of organisms, including the dinosaurs, became extinct as a result. Meteoroids. Chunks of rock or dust smaller than asteroids are called meteoroids. Meteoroids are generally less than 10 meters across. Some meteoroids form when asteroids collide. Others form when comets break up, creating dust clouds. Meteors and meteorites. When a meteoroid enters Earth's atmosphere, friction with the air creates heat and produces a streak of light. This streak is a meteor. People often call meteors shooting stars, but they're not stars. Most meteors come from tiny bits of rock or dust that burn up completely. But some larger meteoroids do not burn up. Meteoroids that pass through the atmosphere and are found on Earth's surface are called meteorites. So meteors are meteoroids. Meteoroids are up in space. I like to remember that like droids in Star Wars. They are out in space. And as they enter the atmosphere, they look like shooting stars. Or shooting stars are meteors. And when they hit the surface, they become meteorites because they land right on the Earth's surface. Meteorite impacts can leave craters, such as the one shown in Figure 4. It's also what Thor's hammer left when it landed on the surface of Earth. Meteor showers. Meteor showers occur when Earth passes through an area with many meteoroids. Again, meteoroids are out in space. Some of these groups of meteoroids are bits of comets that broke up. These meteor showers occur every year as Earth passes through the same area. Meteor showers are often named for the constellation from which they appear to come. The Perseids, the Geminids, and Orionids are examples of meteor showers.